I'm Vikas. I lead a fintech known as Finneva. It's a DIFC registered fintech. We are in the area of financial services for SME, particularly in the area of working capital finance, where we specialize in trade and supply chain business, financing that business. I've been a career banker prior to initiating Finneva for the past 2 years. I've been a banker for almost 2 decades, lastly with Emirates NBD, where I was globally heading the trade finance business for them, and worked in many parts of the world, in UAE, in India, in Singapore, in London. So that's the background. So I've been a banker and now trying to pitch a solution which can help SMEs in UAE and in larger MENA region. So it's an operational company where we manage the entire operations from origination to collection. And thereby what happens is we arrange funding for the SMEs through banks. Banks find it very convenient if there is an expert who is handling this whole operational journey. So their cost for delivering that solution is then efficient from that perspective. So consultancy, generally you advise on solutions but don't take action on that. For us, it's action oriented. So we actually do everything operations, right from originating a deal, arranging a deal, to transaction processing, monitoring the transaction, and also the reconciliation and collection part of it. So it's everything. So we do advise the SMEs, but we also help them arrange and then carry forward the transaction. So all the steps are being done. So 2 things actually. So from a banking perspective, what I have done is largely corporate banking and transaction banking. And when you're in banking, you do one part of the business, so you are responsible for business. Now, when I was a transaction banker with Emirates NBD, I was seeing a lot of opportunities where SMEs wanted money. Okay, there was a lot of growth opportunities, but needed some solution where end-to-end this can be managed. Now, when you come in a fintech side of the business from a traditional banking, 2 things happen. One, you have control of product and technology. So you can make meaningful changes that is under your control. Banks sometimes are very large organization. So for you to make some innovation or change sometimes is difficult. I'm not saying they don't make innovation. A lot of banks do very good work. But sometimes I thought that this will be much better at my stage to do this part. Second, the responsibility when you come to a fintech is everything. So you do relationship management, you do product, you do tech, you do compliance, credit. So it's a whole era of work that you do. So that's very exciting. That's interesting that you're creating product right from scratch, and you can see the impact of that on your customers. So you know what is the impact that your organization or your product is bringing. So that is something was very exciting for me. I thought there's an opportunity, why not create that? So we were doing, so it's very common sense. So what was happening was, there's a lot of scope of business in this part of the world. The SME gap, which is documented by various agencies, is roughly about $250 billion, which is large, huge. Banks are there, but somehow what happens is the moment you have to deal with SME, the ticket size is so small that many banks do not find it very lucrative to actually go and finance at that level. So there was always a need for a player which could bring the bank, the operational fulfillment and the customer together. So there was an opportunity, and there was something that we have seen in many parts of the world, not only in UAE, but where fintechs were playing a very, very crucial role to bridge that gap. And that's what was something that we thought MeCred can do in this part of the world. And that is exactly what we have set up. So see, what we have done is, in the past 1.5 years that we have been operating, we have set the basics of product, the basics of technology. We have tested a lot of things, what works and mostly what don't work. Okay, so there can be a lot of bookish knowledge, but once you go onto the ground, you realize some of these things may not work. So I think what we have done is we have done multiple cycles of transactions. We now know for sure some of things that we must concentrate on, and that is what I think we have built up. So product is there. I think we have tie-ups are there. This is a year where probably we will showcase and probably accelerate the growth path. So for example, I was talking about that in the next 18 months, we want to achieve $1 billion dirham of financing directly and indirectly to our SMEs. So that is the challenge. So we have now all the ingredients ready. how do we market it, how do we really reach out to customers, how do we acquire more and more accelerated while maintaining the same service standards. So I think that is what we are all focused towards. We're reaching out to SMEs, we're reaching out to financiers, and that is what I meant by that post, that we have done the hard work of coming here, up to here, got most of the ingredients there. This is the time to run.